Welcome to this new week of activities, and we're starting off with a blending activity. Thank you to everyone who commented or liked all my posts last week. If you have any opinions, any views, any feedback for me, please do pop it in the comments below, because obviously this is all a work in progress and I want to make it as beneficial for you as I possibly can. So without further ado, let's start on our blending. So as you all know, blending is the core part of reading. It is the most important part. And this is one of my favorite activities that I continue all the way to the end of year 2, because it helps our kids build their blending skills. So essentially, very, very simply, around about 3 times a day, pick one word in a sentence that instead of saying, you're going to sound out. So for example, it's time for b, e, d, and then let your child work that out. Or you can say, go and get your shoes and see if they can do it. At this point, we hope our kids are able to work out those sounds and put them together. Some kids will find it really easy. Some kids will find it harder. The joy of this activity is you've given them some context. So it might be, okay, we're going to go to the park, go and get your shoes. So they're already thinking, okay, what do I need to get for the park? It starts with sh. So even if they're struggling with the blending of shoes, they're hearing sh. I'm going to go and get my shoes, because that starts with sh. So they're then supporting themselves. It's called scaffolding. Their own brain is scaffolding them to hear shoes, shoes, and put it together. So it's a really good one to support our kids blending, whether they are just starting out on blending, whether they're at this point where they've done some already, or whether they are becoming more confident. So as I say, only about 3 times a day, and it can be with any word. Obviously, if your child is finding blending or reading harder, we want to start with 3 sound words. If they are finding it slightly easier, you can go up to 4 sounds, like can you pour me a glass of milk? Now, I will say at this point, if you get it wrong, don't worry. It is not about getting it right or wrong at all. If you're trying to break it up into sounds, you will be doing the same skill. So let's say you're trying to say milk and you manage and then you go ulk. Fine. You have still broken up enough for your child to try and blend it together. Even if you're doing tree, for example, and you go tr, e, great, because you've broken it up a little bit and your child is going to be able to use that to help them with their blending. So please don't worry about, I'm not sure I'm going to get it right. I will say it's tricky. I've been doing this for 10 years now, and I still find some words trickier than others. And I do this every single day. So don't worry if you make a mistake. You can't really make a mistake, because your child will still be benefiting whatever you're doing with this. I will say 3 times a day is about right. You don't need to do this for every single sentence, because your child will start to get frustrated. You may start to get frustrated, but a couple of times a day is great. So the reason this is so valuable is because your child is then hearing the blending skills, hearing those sounds blended, broken up, even segmented. They are then blending them together, so that when they then come across a word in a book or a flashcard or whatever, they are then able to use the blending skill almost automatically. So it takes one level out. They're already, working out b, e, d. They're having to work out those sounds because they're reading the letters on the page. But once they've said it, their brain automatically blends it, because they know what those sounds are when they go together, because you played this game before. So that's our very quick and easy activity today. As I say, all of the extra information is on the sheet, so do feel free to download it and have a look at it. But I hope you enjoy this, and I hope your little one finds it useful. Hello, hello. We have another physical phonics activity this week, and this one's very, very simple. It's hide and seek. So the setup time for this is maybe 5 minutes. Grab a bunch of flashcards. You can write them on post-it notes, any sounds you know your child is working on, and then just hide them around the house. So setup's 5 minutes. You can then tell your child, okay, I've hidden a bunch of sounds, go and find them. And you can play it for as long or a shorter period of time as you'd like. I will say your child doesn't have to find them all in one go, because if they find maybe 3, they bring them back to you and they tell you what all of those are. So they bring back ch. They tell you what that sound is. Great. They have read that sound. They've remembered that sound, and it's been a bit active. So it's going to help with memory. It's going to help with engagement as well. Fantastic. What you can then do is go, okay, fantastic. Let's go and do something else. Or, that's great. You found 3 of them. Well done. You can then say the next day, did you know there's still some more hidden? Or maybe your child comes across them organically and goes, oh, there's a ch in the back of this chair. and you go, oh, well done, well found. So you're then helping your child build their phonics, but you haven't had to do anything extra. So they're just finding these sounds as they go around. What you can do to make it easier is pop those sounds near something that sounds like it. So I think I've got a video for this where I've done things like E next to the tree and K next to the cat, for example. But you don't have to do that. If you know your child is pretty confident on their phonic sounds and they don't need that reminder, you can just hide flashcards wherever you want. For some reason, hide and seek always seems to get my kids really, really excited, which is why I've included it. And I will also say, if you are hiding things next to things, don't worry if they're the right spelling. So like I've put a K next to my cat, even though cat starts with a K, with a curly K, because K and K sound exactly the same. So yeah, that's what I've done to add extras to it. But that's just an idea for you to try out there. Welcome back. We have another tricky word activity today. And this one does take a little bit more setting up than usual, but it is so engaging for our kids. And it's great for the summer, but also, you don't have to use a paddling pool. You can use a sink, you can use a bath, you can use any body of water at all. For this activity, you will need some tricky word flashcards. Whatever tricky words your child's working on. So it could be I, know, go, to, into, and the. And I've included a whole list of tricky words here as well for you to have a look at if you're not sure. So for anyone who doesn't know, the blue ones are the phase 2 tricky words. So that's the first set. The green ones are the phase 3, the yellow are phase 4, and the orange are phase 5. So phase 4 and 5 we tend to do in year 1. And phase 2 and 3 we tend to do in reception. If you are in a read, write, ink school, these tricky words will be in a different order. Don't worry about it. As long as your child is learning some tricky words, they're doing a great job. So what are we doing with this activity? Swimming with words. So what we want is some plastic or some waterproof letters that you don't mind getting a bit wet, and a flashcard to start off with. You want the letters to match the flashcard. Put the flashcard next to the body of water, and then your waterproof words, waterproof sounds with those. You can then throw those into the water wherever you'd like to throw them, and encourage your child to go diving for those letters. So not only is your child then doing something active, which as we all know improves memory, so they are then looking for those letters, picking those letters out, they're then having to match them to the tricky words and put them in the correct order. So they're learning and practicing the spellings of those tricky words. If you want to extend this, you just take the flashcard away. You throw the letters in, they take them out, and they have to work out what order those letters go in to make a tricky word. If you want to make it even harder, you could throw 2 sets of words into the pool or into the water or into the sink, and encourage your child to try and work those out as well. There's lots and lots of different ways that you can expand upon this. And again, it's one that you don't just have to do on, when you have a paddling pool out, you don't have to do it on holiday, but you can take it with you because it doesn't take too much weight if you're going on holiday. And it's great again for practicing spellings, practicing tricky word recognition. And the point of tricky words is that it makes reading so much faster and so much easier. So that's why we do it. So I hope you find these useful. If you have any comments or queries on anything, or any ideas for how to improve, for me to improve with all of these, please do put them in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts.